Live. I love going live with these two guys, Rick Hogg, Mark Kelly, Kelly Defense, Warhog Tactical.
Yeah,
And
buddy.
you know what we're going to talk about tonight? These type of guys right here, and me, kind of me.
Yeah, man.
But let's talk about this, man. Let's, for the new viewers out there, I'm going to give the 10-second overview. Jason Mikla, 22-year Fed, military veteran, Operation Iraqi Freedom, blah, blah, blah. Rick Hogg, former Special Operations Forces Special Unit member, Special. And Mark Kelly, former veteran himself, also a firearms instructor, and also a police officer. Officer, are you a deputy? Or
I like person. Now police officer, yeah.
I'm going to go a person for now on. I do have the federal.
That covers all of our bases.
And I do want to congratulate Rick. Got a new dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
That was nothing planned. I'm a firm believer things happen for a reason. I've got a dog who's got a biblical name, so figure the odds that there wasn't some divine intervention to sit there and stick that guy in my hand. So yeah, but the thing is, when you've got a 1-year-old German Shepherd, now it's right back to dog training 101, and I'm like, man, if I don't have enough stuff on my plate, I just got me a 1-year-old puppy, and I'm sitting there going, all right. So hats off to you, Jason, for doing your little, ruck march I saw going on this morning.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was awesome.
So here's the thing, not to cut you off, brother, but I'm not a big runner, but I've got to be now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, my man's not at the point where I can go take him for a bike ride, because that would be catastrophic for both of us. I'd have dogs in spoke and, yeah, me with road rash. But, yeah, buddy, it's good seeing you getting out there. And I think it's important just to tell guys, hey, man, take care of yourself. Get some fitness on. So, yeah.
That is the biggest thing right there. It's just getting out there and moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling Mark, this Aaron Williamson, he's a celebrity trainer. We became friends over the years, and he made a program for me, and it's like, it is just incredible, man. I'm down about 13, 14, 15 pounds already. He's got me working out 7 days a week.
Sure.
I did skip Saturday because I had to go to Philadelphia. But now, other than that, it's 7 days of cardio, and then it's lifting 4 days a week, and then it's just watching the hell out of everything I'm eating. And
that's
I love it.
Yeah. That's the key part, man. If you, a lot of people, if you really look at what you're eating, they eat garbage. Mm-hmm. And if you can clean up your diet, man, diet with, and I say just a little bit, right? Because you don't have to go crush yourself all day long. A little bit of fitness, dude, the results will be phenomenal. And
just,
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to do a little more than just walk, right? But that's just Rick. But walking, hey, man, if that's all you got, start somewhere. I'd rather see you walk. Get the sugar out of your system. Quit poisoning yourself. And then as you start progressing, man, if you walk, a 1/10 of a mile today, go 2/10 tomorrow and 3/10 the next day. Just a little more each day. Keep driving yourself.
Absolutely, man.
And you're going to get better and better, man. And it was funny because I had a guy on my my little sunrise run, just like, hey, man, make yourself 1% better each day. And he was like, hey, I appreciate that, because now that's a more manageable bite, and I forget what he all told me he was trying to do. Like, I got to do this and this and this. And he's like, 1% makes it more manageable to me mentally. So I was like, too easy, buddy.
Well, the whole thing is just the continuous effort,
Mm-hmm.
The continuous effort is the only way you're really going to unlock, and I can't remember who said that, unlock your true potential. That's the only way. It's just continuous effort. And like you said, it doesn't have to be these big life-changing deals. If you're having trouble sticking with some of those things, like you see those plans out there, like the 80-20 plan. If you're eating 80% of the time, great. That 20% isn't going to be as impactful, even though you want to strive to be as clean as you can. But those little changes and just sticking with it and doing it on a regular basis and just giving a good solid effort continuously. Mm-hmm. That's what the key is. It's not hard. It's just not easy to do. It's simple. It's easy to to fall off the wagon, so to speak.
But Mark, it rolls kind of right in, to tonight's topics when we talk about firearms instructors, right? It's you ask guys, hey man, you'll do the kind of the fitness part, but if you're carrying a firearm, hey, you doing some dry fire stuff?
Yeah, right.
Nope.
Exactly.
Or do you have a plan when you go to the range? Nope. So you'll know today's back and buys or chest and tries or whatever your silly workout thing is. Hey, whatever, because you at least have a plan, but you don't have one when it comes to training. And
Right.
well, specifically firearm. And that's the part that kind of blows me away. I see that the camera just went cattywampus, That's all right.
Yeah. And
as when Mark gets his camera fixed, that'd be great. But one thing I do, we are tonight, so everybody, we are going to talk about the different types of instructors that are out there, and the different types of instructors we are, and the ones that you're kind of what to look for. And I kind of want to jump right into that tonight. I think you brought up a really great point. I think Mark was going to jump right into it as well about, you can find everything you want about physical fitness. I'm on YouTube all the time now going, I could lose 40 pounds if I do this, X, Y, and B. I go to the gym, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do A, B, and C. I'm going to get fit. When it comes to firearms, people are like, okay, I'm just going to get 50 rounds. I'm going to go to the range. I'm going to shoot it down my pistol. And if the group is like this, it's good. But we're all kind of older people, and we can't stay stagnant when it comes to firearms training. So this conversation I think we should have tonight is not just for the new guy or new girl that got their weapon, but us. We need to always keep learning and learning and learning. And it doesn't always have to be new stuff, but we have to practice the fundamentals.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, shooting is just as perishable as anything else, with as many things as it goes into it, with especially folks who are getting a little bit, in the middle ages, it's even more so because it's sight, it's, coordination, it's, physical fitness, it's all those things. And you're right. It's very perishable. If you don't practice, it's going to fall off in a hurry.
And that's the thing, Mark, right? Is, how many times we ask students at classes, especially my LE classes, right? This is the part that I get bothered. And, my thing is I'm on a mission, man. My mission is this: to radically change law enforcement firearms training, because to me, it's a joke. You're giving these guys a false sense of hope and security by some dudes that, here's the thing, they're teaching theory, right? And I'm not saying you have to be in a gunfight to be a firearms instructor, but you're teaching these guys crap, and you're teaching them crap that if they apply it in the real world is going to get them killed. And then, oh, by the way, you have no type of sustainment training for them. So it goes to whether you're, a law enforcement firearms instructor, whether you're a civilian out there looking for a class, whether you're just looking to make yourself better, how do we do that? And really, to me, it's cool to sit there and go, hey, here's a day or two of training on the range. Cool. But what's my takeaway? What's my homework?
Right.
Am I sitting there like, brother, for the LE guys, I challenge them, man. Hey, I'm not going to ask you for a whole bunch of time, but give me 3 days a week, 5 minutes a day for dry fire training, right? It's your life. Why would you not put that time in? And even for the, civilian guys, open enrollment. Hey, man, but it seems like my civilians, and here's the sad part, they're putting the time in. And if I was an LE guy, I'd be a little concerned. Go ahead, Jason.
No, you hit the nail right on the head there. Now, I'm in a smaller agency now, but I was in one of the bigger agencies before, and the bigger agency was like this. Hey, we got to go there. We got to qual 50-something people today. You're going to shoot. You got to get these rounds in this target. If you don't, you're going to blah, blah, blah. No dynamic shooting, nothing. It's either you're going to do one of the training sessions is going to be shotgun familiarization, or it's going to be night fire. And you're only going 4 times a year. Now, my agency I'm in now is very small, 130, 140 agents. But one of the instructors just came in, former Army CID guy, but he's really into fitness, shooting. He's always going to training and bringing back those fundamentals. But the problem is we're getting 4 to 8 hours every quarter, and everybody wants to roll in there, shoot their guns, and go back to working the 50 cases that they're working. And getting people to understand that even though you are in small agencies, shit can still hit the fan, and you got to train. And why not take the good training when you got it?
Sure, but it here's the thing, Jason, right? There's got to be some burden on the shooter themselves, whether they're
Yeah.
mil, LE, or civilian, right? And this is kind of goes back to my point. My civilian guys are out there seeking training. My civilian guys are out there dry firing. I'm not saying all of them, right? But the majority compared to my LE guys. But my LE guys are the quote unquote armed professionals that's out on the street every single day.
Yep.
And you're not putting the time in, to make sure that, hey man, God forbid you're in that deadly force encounter, that you can use your firearm efficiently and effectively. Because these guys are being taught crap. I mean, I hate to say it, their firearms manipulation is poor at best.
Yep.
They're teaching them 80s techniques off of, Mr. Glock's Gen 1 pistol, we'll say, for lack of better terms. It's like, stop, guys. You can't have it both ways. You can't say you're going to lose your gross motor skills, but somehow I can magically use my thumb to release my magazine, but I can't use that same thumb to release my slide release. Come on, dude. Your logic, it's not there.
Yeah.
So to me, if you're going to teach them that, just throw your gun at them, because once you shoot, to slide lock, you're done. You can't operate, or that's what they're telling these guys.
Yeah.
So
and we love these guys too, and girls, these professionals out there.
Yeah.
We know how dedicated and the responsibility they feel towards the victims. When they're working major crimes, I get it, but we're not asking for a ton of time. We're just asking for that little time and dedicate it to your own skill base. That's it. And it's not difficult. And there's another thing too, Rick, you brought up a great point. You got to leave them with something. So we always make it all three of us here, we always make it a big piece that when we're training our folks, LA, LEO, mill guys, gals, and then civilians, we give them stuff. This is how we do it when we go home. This is how if you do these few things, and a lot of times it's an administrative load, it's picking up your presentation and your site picture. If you just do those things, it's not difficult to remember, and you give it and you let them leave with it. That's on those instructors too, to give them something that they can do at the house safely all the time.
Yeah,
You don't have to drive. You just got to double shift, and you got to detail. You got to go stand because the president's coming in town, or Jason Piccolo's doing a talk or something down at the Civic Center. You got to go guard him, right? So you got to stand there all day. I get it. We're talking 5 minutes, right?
Yeah,
sure.
And this is a good one here. Is like the fundamentals. Dan brings up the point of doing the fundamentals. And this is one thing I'd like to, probably, because I was basic, just leg old infantry. But then everything is like, everything is basically the 7-8 infantry manual. And it's just who does it more and who practices those fundamentals more. That becomes like the specialist, someone who could do this stuff. But if you're not practicing the fundamentals and you're just kind of winging it, and that's where you have to. And that's why I like to, even if you're doing, I like going to those courses where you're doing some dry fire. You're practicing it. You're practicing your fundamentals that you might not remember. How many people are picking up shotguns right now? How many people know how to grab a shotgun and get that thing prepped for hot standby and go? Because you're not using shotguns all the time. So many of us are like, semi-autos and M4s.
But Jason,
blah, blah, blah.
Jason, stop right there, right? You say the shotgun. Holy mackerel, you open up Pandora's box with a shotgun, right? Because you've got numerous operating systems with it. And you're going to sit there and go, hey, am I savvy with it? Which shotgun is it? Where's my button? So if I'm running some type of pump, how do I work that pump? Where's my safety? Because, they're not all in the same spot. I mean, there's a plethora. And then, hey, man, I'm not afraid to say, what if you got, grandpa's old double barrel, man? That's all you got. Can you work that thing? Man. Can you open it? You got to cock hammers? What do you got? Which trigger works what? I mean, you can sit there and most people, the shotgun, right? Super easy. It can be. It can be if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we got to. This is the kind of thing this is one of the area I really wanted to touch on tonight, and Brian brings it up about vetting the companies you're going to. Listen, you could have all the certificates in the world, all the fancy titles in the world, but how would you? I mean, you two are the pros at this. I'm slowly getting into the training realm, but how would you vet a company? What are we looking for?
Well, I'm going to start just. I'm going to get into that in a second, but I'm going to kind of give you something. I ask my students, right? Hey, man, and I just use the word versus vet. I say cyber stalk. I said, if you guys cyber stalk me, And you'd be surprised. Obviously, the open enrollment people, the civilians, they know because they've done their research. The mil LE guys, some do, some don't. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? And this kind of falls into, you know, vetting your instructor. Why wouldn't you see what this guy's about? So, like when we go to shoot the Warhawk self eval, I've got people that are, hey man, what's this? I'm like, come on, man. It doesn't take long or much digging to sit there and find the Warhawk self eval. Because, like Mark was saying before, we shoot that thing, it gives you a tangible to start to take away from. But to me, when you're looking at, if you want to say vetting somebody, I hate to say it, this day and age, as much as I'm not a big fan of the interwebs and social and all this other stuff, you can look at people's content, right? Now, be cautious. You got some dudes that do some flashy stuff, let's just say, but that's all it is. It's not firearms instruction, it's firearms entertainment. You have to make sure you don't get caught into the bells and whistles and flashes and bangs and whoa, look at there.
There it is.
Right there, man. Oh, with the Walther PDP, because that was one of the things that we did for, shot 27 different instructional videos as part of the PDP launch for Walther. And yeah, that was one of the drills we stuck in there. But that's right there at warhog.com, right? So all you got to do is go to my website, man. It's not like you've got to search and dig and pull, but that would be, my first thing. And look at people's content out there and kind of go, how are they teaching? So I will just use myself, right? So I've got numerous different, if you want to say, free instructional videos on YouTube, warhog.com. I mean, we've got instructional videos via Pantheon Productions. So there's enough content out there to go, hey, what is my teaching style? How am I putting stuff out? What's important to me? What's not? And then you got to kind of look at the experience as well. I think that's a crucial part. And here's the thing. I'm not putting anybody, hey, if you're new to the game and you're just, and I hate to just say but like if you're an NRA instructor and you're just teaching, first time firearms handling, but dude, no problem with it, right? I got no dramas with it. That's perfectly fine. But if that's your skill set, if your only experience is just running, I think it's first shots is what the NRA calls it, whatever their program is. But if you just do that, and then all of a sudden you try to accelerate something where you're way out of your lane, hey man, that's where you've got to be careful. And I think that's where people have to look to go, all right, I really can't find any information about this guy. It's kind of an unknown. And granted, I was that guy at a certain point, right? So when I got out of the military, a lot of people didn't know who I was. You got to build that digital footprint so people can find you. But that would be, my biggest thing is just go out there, look at the individual, see what they're teaching. If you know anybody that's trained with them, ask, man. Your fellow shooters are going to give you great stuff, so I know some people I've talked to, hey, they were expecting to take a course with somebody, but he wasn't there, but the company name was there. And then people get all aggravated because they think they're shooting with so-and-so. So there's a bunch of stuff you've got to look at.
That happens a lot. That happens a lot. Yeah.
But that just goes into part of the whole, vetting process.
Yeah. And this is a good one right here. I was thinking of finding someone local who offered what I'm looking for. And look at the replies. How do they get back to you? Are they kind of like condescending and saying, such and such, blah, blah. And then are they going to say, hey, you know what? What's your skill level? How can I help you out?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing is if you get an instructor that asks, what do you need? Like if somebody reaches out to me, hey man, do you offer pistol training? Sure. What are you looking for? There's got to be, you've got to do your due diligence as a student when you're reaching out to people, because when you're very vague, now we become, especially if you're doing email, it's this back and forth. And I don't mind going back and forth, but if you sit there and go, hey, I'm a relatively new firearms owner. I got about 50 rounds out of this pistol experience, but I'm looking to improve, my skill set, or I've got my state's concealed carry, permit requirements, because again, that'll set a perimeter for some people. Hey, what's your skill level? And I'm looking to do X. Yeah. Then it's like, cool. You have the conversation after that. So
I like that idea of like, if you're an instructor, and this goes, and this talk could be for anybody. I really want to just talk about the instructor realm as well. Is maybe put together, like when we do podcasts, I usually send out a questionnaire like, hey, what do you want to talk about? You got anything you want to promote? Blah blah. Same thing if you're an instructor, saying, okay, put together a little snapshot saying, hey, okay, how long you been shooting? What type of gun you been shooting? Have you had previous training? What do you want to get out of this? And kind of tailor make it. Because this, as you know, how many people have come back to train with you after they've gone to one course? Because if you suck, they're not going to come back.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, you get repeat students. The hardest thing with us is just when you're geographically moving around the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was part of the whole, for me, why am I a mobile based? Because to me, if I'm moving around, that offers me to hit my skill sets in broader places than versus just staying, hey, in North Carolina, then people have to come to me. So you try to sit there and set stuff up. Hey, I'll be over here, go over there. And then it gives you the flexibility, especially for my mil LE guys. I can save you a boatload of cash by coming to your place, barring you've got the facilities to support, because sometimes those guys will reach out and they'll be like, hey, we're looking for this, this, and this, but we don't have the facilities. Now you're, okay, either I've got somewhere close I can train at, or somewhere we can figure out where's a training venue to be able to conduct this training.
Now we've got the types of instructors. We got the old timer. Let's talk about that old timer, because that's the one that we find a lot. And I was talking to someone that works in one of the other agencies, and they were talking about what they do is they hire the retired guys to come back in and train firearms, because at one time they took a firearms instructor course. Mm-hmm. So now they're training the new generation, but they haven't updated anything since like 30 years ago when they first got in, and they're teaching the same fundamentals. And everything is so different, but it's the same, but it's different. So we got the old timer, and there's nothing wrong with being an old timer, but how do you vet someone like that? How do you determine whether or not they're up to date on anything?
Well,
because they might have all the credentials in the world.
Right. I think it depends on what they're offering and what you're looking for. If you have a guy like that who he's teaching, basically a first time shooter, safety, how to go to the range, covering all those bases with the safety rules and just addressing the pistol for the first time, that they could be perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of these big box stores, I know the education piece is going away with some of the CCW and the CHL stuff. I get that. But those classes are still useful. They're usually on the cheaper side that you can find. But it also comes with a lot of other bad things. It comes with big classes. It comes with, only getting so much one-on-one time. And it also comes with that anxiety from someone who may not feel 100% completely comfortable with being in front of a large group. So you have to kind of weigh all those things out. But if they're just doing basic fundamentals, how to safely handle, how to safely get to and from and load, there's nothing wrong with that. But it kind of stops short from there. You can't, like you said, you can't start throwing out a bunch of key tactical phrases and extend your expertise beyond that.
What's a cool? I need one of those tacky cool phrases to extend my expertise. I don't have any.
Economy of motion.
Oh, I like it.
Would that be like efficient? Would that be like efficient or effective?
It would be, but it sounds a lot cooler.
Man, I got to write that one down. What about? Oh, go ahead.
Ergonomic.
Say, like when dope was the big word, like data on previous engagements, shit like that. Like every time I go to the range, like, oh, you got, I'm tactical, and some guy be like, oh, you got to check the dope on your weapon. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? I'm shooting pistol course there,
Well, hey, maybe somebody put some dope on there for the dog to sniff or something. It's like,
I was working dope back then, so maybe it was that. Hey, let's talk
Rick and
about,
I say poop. Check your poop on your rifle.
Yeah,
that's what we use. Yeah.
Anything you can acronym. Hey, so credential wise, just because you were soft, just because you're this LEO veteran, etc., I think there's a ton ton of great civilian instructors out there as well.
Oh yeah,
Sure. Say that,
absolutely.
No,
Just have someone has a long tab, short tab, no tab, you know.
No, just here's my thing, Jason. Right, and I got it. I'm going to stir the pot with this one, and people will sit there and say what you want. Just stay in your lane, right? You can be, if you have zero engaging another human being, don't talk about killing, right? Don't portray something that you don't have. But if you're going to talk about manipulating a firearm or instructing, then just instruct. But don't inject it. Well, in a gunfight, this is going to happen. Okay, brother. How many gunfights you been in? Talk to me here. Well, what's that matter? That's all I'm saying. Because I've seen that as well, where you got guys that it's like, hey, dude, you want to talk about doing all this killing and everything else, but you got zero experience behind it. Just shut your mouth on that part, right? Just instruct.
Yeah.
Do your instructor business. And there's nothing wrong, like you said. There's nothing wrong because you haven't. Because here's the thing. Check it out, guys. I'm going to blow you away with this one. Rick Hogg actually taught theory at one point. Boom. Isn't that a concept, right? So prior to the GWAT, working for 7th Group with the Special Forces Advanced Urban Combat Committee, we were teaching theory because it wasn't battle proven, right? Mm-hmm. And sorry, Mark, but Desert Storm, man, it was a good time for us, but we really wasn't a whole bunch of prolonged engagements and doing all that stuff, right? Nothing like the GWAT going on.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with the dude that's teaching theory, barring you're teaching it correctly, right? It's nice to sit there and go, for me, going some things that I see guys teaching, and a prime example is looking at the ejection port of your AR platform. I just pose the question, right? I don't say, hey, you're right, wrong. I go, hey, what are you going to do at night? Let the shooter or the student think for themselves. Oh, what am I going to do? Maybe if you put that stock in your shoulder a little better and quit let that gun bounce around, you'll feel that bolt lock back, or you'll feel that malfunction you're having. Just food for thought, right? Not putting anyone else down, not saying their technique is wrong. I'm just planting the seed. Shut the lights off. Now what are we looking at? Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, so. It has everything to do with being confident in what you're teaching.
Sure.
It's really what it boils down to. And to be 100% honest, a lot of the folks, especially the civilian side of the house, they do not care where you came from. They're paying you. They want to learn something that's going to make them better and allow them to continue to get better when you give them something to take home with them. They don't, nobody cares, man. Nobody cares. Stay in your lane.
I like it. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And, I tell you, I like where Dan's going. I'm going to be doing the same thing here. I'm going to be teaching basic instruction because I am not ready to go out and teach. So
let's talk definitions, right? Because that's the number one problem, in my opinion, in the firearms industry, right? Especially from the training side. Well, this is a basic pistol course. This is an intermediate pistol course. This is an advanced pistol course. Where's the standard?
Yeah.
Right. A lot of time, to me, I think it's marketing 101. Well, you got to take the Warhog 101 and the Warhog 102 and the Warhog 103. Okay, cool. And I get it if you're running day courses trying to progress on top of each other, and it might work if you've got a fixed facility that, hey, people are coming to you. But when you're mobile, it's like, shooting yourself in the foot. But when you go a basic class, man, that has parameters so wide, in my opinion.
See, my basic class to me is you've never shot a gun, and by the time you leave here, you'll be proficient by putting rounds on target. Now, we're not talking defensive shooting. We're just talking about basic safety, basic fundamentals, and then basic pulling that trigger and getting around downrange. Now, anything after that, I think, is just, hey, we're going to get into pistol fundamentals, operation, maximum stuff like that.
But see, I would dub that. This is where I think we go wrong, right, Jason? I would call that first-time firearms, shooters, owners, whatever. Because now we're even delineating, we're breaking it down more, right? Because I can show up to a basic course, and really, what's an advanced course? What's an intermediate course, right? There's no delineation. So to me, but if I break it down and go, hey, this is a first-time firearms owner's course, it's pretty clear cut. Hey, man, I'm going to teach you how this thing works. I'm going to teach you how to load your magazine. I'm going to teach the fundamentals of marksmanship. You're going to lay those parameters out so they can be confident and comfortable with their firearm. But then all the rest of the stuff, it's got to kind of roll into the course description. In my opinion, you got to look at going, okay, because again, for me and Mark, we don't sit there and go, well, you've got to be a basic, an intermediate, or advanced shooter. Hey, dude, we take all shooters because we'll tweak you. Hey, you may not get as far as this other guy who's got more time behind the trigger, but we're going to make you better for your lane that you're running. So in essence, each student is going to run in their lane. Some may get to their destination a little quicker. Some may not. That's fine. But that's just a different philosophy versus going, this is, basic, intermediate, advanced, at least for me.
Yeah. And I think that the course that, Jason's talking about, that we're all talking about right now is probably one of the most important ones you can have. You can take somebody and teach them, first-time shooter or, first-time gun owner.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get them to be able to go to the range, be able to transport, get there, safely get their firearm up and running, putting some shots on target without hurting themselves or anybody else, that's a win if they've never done it before.
Yep.
And then they start building on that. That's the whole thing. It's the safety stuff first to build that confidence so that you continue to go and train. But there's a huge, huge lack of that in a lot of things.
I think, and this is like kind of cautious for everybody out there, is make sure that if you're an instructor, and I like where you're going with this stuff, is make sure that the description says stuff like that. Like me trying to find local training around here, there's like a ton of different places that are like, okay, there's the tactical places, and then there's the places that are like, okay, I can learn something, but where do I fit in? Like I said, 20 million year LEO vet, and I love to shoot. Do I go to do I have to start at a basic course, an advanced course, medium course? That's why a description like that is like, okay, I could do that. I want to do that, and I want to learn that. So I think it's really good that you do that.
Yeah, and it just makes it easier for everybody, right? So let's just use I'll just give you Rick stuff, right? So Warhawk pistol course, we're doing a 1-day, 2-day. Doesn't matter, right? Then the question always comes up because you look in there. I don't care what you've got. Iron sights, red dot, we'll cover them both. You've got an outside the waistband, you've got a concealed. I don't care. We'll cover them both, right? We can accommodate everybody because when you use a building block methodology, we're just not going to willy-nilly start whipping pistols out of holsters or from concealment. We're going to get some fundamentals down first to make sure you can actually get rounds on target. Then we'll start incorporating, hey, now we're going to start doing some mag changes. Then we'll get to our draw from the holster. But if it's laid out, hey, this 1-day, 2-day, 3-day, 5-day, whatever long courses we're going to cover, bing, 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 bing. It's all laid out. Dude, then the student shooter knows exactly, hey, man, I know exactly what I'm getting. So, hey, if you're looking to get, let's say, for example, do some barricade shooting and you come to a 1-day class, not going to happen. There's just the time. That's not something we're going to spend 1 day on worrying about barricades. Not going to happen. You got to lay that foundation before you sit there and start, jumping around and doing other stuff. So just Rick's 2 cents.
How are you guys keeping current on everything that's going on? How does someone learn about all new techniques and everything? Is it by trial by fire? You're doing it yourself. You're getting out there and you're trying new things.
Well,
Mark, other courses?
Mark, if you want to go.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. When you say new stuff, the fundamentals really, they don't change. The technology changes, but the fundamentals really don't change. Now, can we make that individual, what they're doing, a lot more efficient in what they're doing and show them? And that's another big thing we haven't touched on. We'll hope we touch on before we're almost done here, is explaining the why about a lot of these stuff. But those fundamentals, which are rarely practiced, especially you see some of these tactical guys doing some badass stuff. I get it, but they're doing those kind of things and trying to get that sub 1 second draw, and they're showing that on their YouTube stuff, and they're an instructor, and that's all good. But if you're not doing the fundamentals correctly, if you're not doing those right, you shouldn't really be doing anything else. Now you can do some drills in there, but if you're not applying those, no matter what whiz bang stuff you're doing, and there is a lot of things coming out there that people have ideas about, drills to how to hone those skills, but it's still just the fundamentals. But as far as current, we don't see a whole lot of difference when it comes to the way we teach about that building block methodology, but we do see a lot of stuff with the new stuff out there, new systems that'll help you be a little more forgiving and things like that. A lot more safe. Yeah.
Is this your brother throwing you under the bus here? No. Mark, how do you handle someone who thinks they are more advanced than you are? That's your brother saying, hey, I'm more advanced than you are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The problem with that is most of the time they're right, so.
But Jason, it goes right into, are you more advanced? Hang on, advanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you just think you are and you're not wanting to listen? So I'll give you a prime example with that one, and then I want to hit the kind of con ed, for lack of better terms. But I've had people out there. It's right. It's like you're coming to me for training, okay?
Great point. Great point. Yeah.
I don't care that you're the team leader for SWAT team X or you're this position or whatever. And I'm not. We're not CQBing. I'm trying to teach you firearms manipulation, firearms marksmanship. Take all your crap. We come up at the high ready. I'm not going to argue that, dude. Just work with me with the low ready here. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just work the drill like this and we'll progress to there. Well, that's not the way we do it. Okay, dude. There comes a point, and this is just Rick, right? I cut the ties with that dude. And I hate to say it. I'm not going to waste my time when I've got a guy in a leadership spot basically going, well, that's not the way we do it. But his guys are soaking it up. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, his guys are out shooting the expert, right? It's like, hey, dude, why don't you focus on some fundamentals and get shot on target versus.
You know what? I think you hit a couple things on the head right there. It's called maturity and ego.
Sure.
Throw the ego out and go there and just, if you're mature enough, say, hey, you know what? I'm here to learn.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like this, right? If you go to a course and again, you're not trying different things, because if you do what you always have done, you're going to get what you always got. How are you going to know how you're going to get better? Right. And it's simple. Hey, man, grip your pistol like this, adjust your feet, lean forward, whatever the case may be, open both your eyes, trigger finger. How much am I putting in, out, whatever? Oh my God, this is working so much better. My marksmanship's there. And it's like you just gave them, the Holy Grail. It's like, dude, you could have done that yourself.
Yeah.
But they just stay right where they're at. And I think that kind of segues into what we were talking about earlier. It's like, talk to other instructors out there, kind of get out there. Am I necessarily going to other people's classes? I'm not going to lie. I typically don't have the time. Right. Yeah. But if we're doing collabs with people, and I think this is the beauty, right? Collabs work better. Because if you're collabing with other instructors, hey, man, you're seeing how I'm teaching, you're seeing how they're teaching. Hey, try this, do that. This is working, all that other stuff. Because like Mark said, the fundamentals, they haven't changed, right? Check it out. Here's the magic to shooting. Keep your sights where they need to be and just be able to let that gun go off without disturbing those sights. Novel concept. Super easy, right? It's everything else in between and diagnosing those people that are having dramas to fix that. The other thing is look at some of your clips of your instructors. Are they watching the target or are they watching the shooter? That to me is a telltale sign. So if I get a guy that's looking at your target, dude, the magic is happening at the shooter. The target's going to be there. If you're shooting steel, it'll give you some type of report. If it's paper, the holes will be there. Look what the shooter's doing. That will tell you more than anything.
Now, that's a good question from Dan. Serious question. If I know a method isn't necessarily good, and I know it isn't, but the trainer's saying, go this way, what would you do, Rick and Mark?
So again, Dan's a little vague, right? So I need a little more. So the method isn't necessarily good. Method of what?
So I'm guessing if he hears an instructor say something and he's known through his own experience that maybe if it's not good for him or it's just not good at all, I think we need a little more on that. But, because if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Most instructors who are really there to try to help the shooter. They're not coming in to say, hey, this is how you should do it. They're taking a look at what they are doing currently and making it better, and identifying things that they're doing that are going to cause dramas, that are really something they shouldn't be doing. You don't necessarily have to switch everybody's up. And the only thing about that question is people are doing that all the time. They're trying to change everything that's working for the guy because they want it to do their way.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not going to be comfortable.
But here's the thing, Mark, right? Think about it. We do it, let's say firearms manipulation, not safety. All right. So here's a prime example, Dan, right? Let's use fire manipulation because that's one of my favorites, especially with the handgun. I love it. So everyone slingshots. So if you're coming over the side to release it because you're using an 80s technique, because when Mr. Glock designed his pistol, it was never designed to be a slide release. It was a slide catch. So again, if you understand the firearm and where we're getting these techniques from, you kind of understand what's going on. And I get it. The LE world, oh, you're going to lose your gross motor skills. Well, I can magically press the button to release my magazine, but I can't hit the slide release. And oh, by the way, I don't use my firing thumb, at least for me. We're talking the slingshot, right? I used to use the slingshot. Don't now. Broke that habit. Yeah, probably because you had some instructor come out and go, so this is getting into the whole thing with the slingshot, right? Because the way you fix guys in the slingshot is, for me, I say, hey, yes, if your firing thumb can hit the slide, that's great. But for me as Rick, I want to sit there and have a wider spectrum, because it doesn't matter what tool I grab, because that's what they are, they're tools. If I use my support thumb, I know I can hit that slide release on whatever platform. Okay. Now, the way you kind of get guys to fix the slingshot is it's real easy. You conduct a dry fire manipulation. And guys will figure out when they go to slingshot, they will never let that slide go forward using the slingshot. And then mysteriously, one of their thumbs will hit that slide release. The slide will go forward and go, boom. It's that aha moment that goes, there it is. And the other thing with the slingshot, right? At least for me, when you're coming over the top of that slide, your hand can potentially be over that ejection port, where now if you're looking to clear a malfunction, you're causing more dramas than what you got. So to me, it's just not an efficient. That's just Rick's thing. If I'm pinching the back of that slide, I know my brass or trash is going to clear out of there. I'm good to go. You know, I don't have to force it. I don't have to sit there and go, because I've had, especially my LE guys, right? They are ingrained with that slingshot.
Yeah.
You just let them, because we do a dry fire session prior to doing speed magazine changes, and you watch them struggle. And then magically, boop, it went forward using the thumb. And it's that aha moment where they go, oh, okay. Well, now you can train it, right? I don't need dummy rounds. I don't need anything. I can now train a technique, because you can't train the slingshot without having some type of dummy rounds to get that slide to go forward. I missed Brian's question. I'm sorry.
No, he just said he's working on Brian said, I am working on transitioning with dry fire, that once the support hand puts a mag in, all it has to do is go up a little bit higher and hit that slide release just to make it habitual now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to Brian, one of our Patreons.
That's it.
Look at that.
But
yeah, good for him.
But that support thumb, you know, here's my thing, Jason, right? I want to be the carpenter that can work all the tools. I just don't want to be able to work my specific hammer. I want to grab anyone's hammer and sit there and do some smashing if I need to. So to me, if I use my support thumb, it doesn't matter what platform. And you're going to go, but Rick, why would you have to do that? Well, you know, I don't have the biggest hands, but go ahead and get you one of them 1911s. Yep. One of them World War I guns that, man, I got some time. I got some time behind.
There's one right there behind me there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Little 1911.
Dude, I was actually issued one of those.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're aging.
That's my sidearm. Hey, big shout out to my big brother, man, dropping the question. Good question too.
Yeah,
good
man.
question. Hey,
Mark,
congratulations on his retirement. He's retired after 20 years in the Army. So
Nice.
thank you for your service, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
When's
say,
he- when's he
Mark,
gonna
what was
join,
Vietnam
Team Kelly?
like? Oh yeah, when's he joining Team Kelly?
Yeah. He'd want to be the boss. Since he's my older bro, he'd want to be the boss.
Okay, here's a question. Have you put it on a clock? Is there much difference in time of the reload between strong hand and support hand reload?
Yeah, it's faster. Yeah, there is. It's faster. And you don't have to readjust everything. You don't have to find your grip again.
Very nice.
Pete always asks good questions.
Yeah, it is. Well, Pete's one of those guys, right? He's wanting to be a firearms instructor. So
Yeah.
of course he's out
He's
there.
gonna be. He's
out
gonna be
there
a good
trying-
one. He's gonna be a good
Dude,
one.
he's
Yeah.
gonna sit there and crush it. Why? Because he's always asking questions. He's always.
Yep.
If you understand the why, because there's nothing worse than going out there and go, here's a prime example. I love my LE guys. I love to ask them the why. Why? Why, you ask? Because Rick wants to change law enforcement firearms training. So if you go, hey, why are you guys doing that? And 9 times out of 10, they don't know.
Oh God.
So how can you change? Right?
Well,
Like
you
the
know the
classic-
answer. We've always done it that way.
Well, of course. But and
Yeah,
I'm good.
We've always done it that way.
But see, here's the thing, Mark, right? I am good if you go, we've always done it that way, and here's the why. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for example, like the hand coming in front of the chest when you're doing strong hand shooting. Okay? Why do we do that? Well, that's what I was told to do. We probably did that because back in the pre-60s, 70s, whenever armor came out, for law enforcement, hey man, put your hand there so it'll give you a little more meat to stop them bullets.
Yeah.
I think we're past that point.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the support hand going somewhere on my bat utility belt to get some other tool that can better help my situation. And I'm good with guys if they can articulate, hey, I'm going here to my chest because that's where my flashlight is on my vest. Cool, dude. I'm good with it. You're thinking.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I'm looking for. But my hand just sitting here is doing nothing. If you want to sit there, and again, if you're one of my LEOs out there listening, hey, if you like that technique, go, hey, I'm reaching for the radio. I would give you that, right? I would give you something. But you just go, well, that's what I was told to do. You know what? I was told to do a bunch of things. Go jump out of this perfect good airplane, Sounds like a plan, You got to sit there and know, why am I doing this thing? So that would just be my biggest thing across the board, civilian, mil, LE, just the why. If you know the why, then cool. You can draw some conclusions yourself.
I like it. What else we got for tonight? We got the tactical, we got the old timer, we got the civilian. Any other types of instructors out there?
I just think, each one's different, right? No two instructors are the same. They can be similar, but nobody's going to be the same. How you deliver your message, how you convey it, how do you read a student, we can all teach kind of the same thing. Or let me rephrase. I won't say teach. We all could execute a firearms manipulation.
Yeah.
Competition instructors. Yeah, Pete. We'll hit on that one here in a second because that's a big argument right now. But just because I can shoot fast and do all this other stuff, can I deliver the information that's palatable to a student to be able to sit there and execute?
Right.
I mean, that's the question of the hour. So Pete brings up a good point, and I don't want to steal the horn if anyone else wants to jump in, but I'll give my 2 cents on the competition instructor. So here's the deal. There's nothing wrong with it, right? Because if you look at the majority of your competition dudes, they have pretty much mastered firearms manipulation. All right.
Yeah.
They can work those guns very well. Listen to them. Did we bring competition guys in? Yep. Were they teaching us tactics?
We did too. Yeah.
Nope. They weren't in there going, hey man, you should do this. Now we had, we've had some that were like, I can remember doing some barricade work, and it was like shooting through this chain link fence, just the way we had this apparatus set up at work. And I'm down low because I'm using it for appropriate cover like I would. It's like, hey dude, if I'm going to simulate somebody shooting at me, I'm going to get as low as I can and try to use this piece of cover to stop bullets. And he was like, hey man, you'd be better off kind of being up here, your diaphragm's up, you can breathe. I was like, hey, that's cool. But I'm like, I got to go down here because if this is a 2-way live fire range, I want some cover. And I understand what you're teaching me. I got it. Work with me in this position. I can't give you the, the standing up here, just using this piece of fence artificially, for some support. I need to use this piece of cover because there was a CMU wall below it. It's like I'm using that. So that would be my only thing. As long as they don't cross that line, I'm good with it. Now. If they're a tactical competition, dude, cool, man. Jump in, jump out. A bunch of benefits to it, but don't this whole you can't learn something from a tactical guy or you can't learn something from a competition guy. It's just like stop the madness.
No, it's just, and one thing I want to touch on what Pete's saying here is Pete says one thing I like about competition shooters is how many of them think outside the box to complete a course of fire. And that's like round manipulation. How are you going to get that bullet on that target in different ways you could flex that body? And yes, tactics are usually horrible.
But you're not shooting a match for tactics.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
You're shooting a match for for speed and efficiency. It's like, hey, where can I get my bullets? Hey, I might take 2 Charlies because for the sense of boom, shoot and go, move off. Versus, hey man, there's so many gives and takes to that, and it's a game, man. You can sit there and game a stage. It's like, hey, when I'm shooting it, am I better off shooting right to left, left to right because hey, I'm leaning one way or another to get me better going to another box or another shooting spot, or I mean, it's all thinking, and that's the whole problem. At the end of the day, is you've got to get your students to think. If you just force feed them info, it's easy. Get them to think.
Yeah, I think we touched on some
I think
good
the
stuff
biggest
today.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is this day and age, there should be some content out there with most of your guys who are putting on classes. There should be something that you can find. If they're not dumbing it down, and that's not a bad thing, dumbing it down so that you are, like Rick said, receiving the information. If you like the way they're talking and how they're explaining things, there's no reason why you could at least reach out to them and ask them some more questions. But you gotta look at some of that stuff. And, if they're bad mouthing other instructors too, I'm not a big fan of that. There's no sense in it. We don't have to do it. We have plenty of people reaching out to us. So just go out there and put some good content out and, ask them some questions. I think that was great, Jason. Send them an email.
Yeah.
See what they say. Yeah.
Come up with a laundry. You know what? And that's the thing. If you're looking for an instructor, tell them what your competencies are. And that's the thing, is just because you're an LEO or just because you're military doesn't mean you have top of the line experience, top of the line instruction. Or maybe if you do, say it. Say, okay, I want to do this. Tell me, how are you going to help me get to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if they have a ton of experience and they just can't deliver the information,
Yeah.
it's not gonna do you any good. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, here's the deal. There's enough content, or there should be enough content out there about people, what their teaching style is. Even still, if you got a question, like you said, shoot them an email. And trust me, someone's email response will tell you a lot about them. And at the end of the day, there's your reality check, man. Cyberstock, get some more feedback or some more info if you need it. And then boom, man, either you're sitting there going, let's go training, or we're not.
Oh, so, there you go. There you go. I mean, I guess we should start using that as our end of the show when Rick throws in that. Well, that's your reality check, people.
Yeah,
it's a total
Romeo
pro
Charlie
move right
reality
there.
check.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen,
All
it's
right.
been what's this, our fifth episode now? It's going good. I like it.
Yeah.
Everybody tune in on Mondays. Just so you know, we're going to be talking a lot about firearm stuff, a lot about training. We'll jump into, I think 1 week we're going to do fitness now that we're all kind of on this fitness bug. The big thing is just getting.
Hang on. What do you mean we're on this fitness thing? Did we ever get off the fitness boat?
Hey, this guy did. This guy got off the fitness boats.
Yeah.
No, but we're looking. Chris, gents, I've learned as a longtime instructor with others how not to instruct as well.
That's
man.
that's a great point. 100% is a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you figure out what not to do a hell of a lot more than what to do.
So we got everybody head over. If you are looking for training, I'm going to drop the links below. We have www.kellydefense.com /training. And then we also have www.warhog. I was going to say warhog.com /training. Or is that /? What is that? That's a backslash.
I think it's a /
Sure.
That's
Sure.
one of them. It's a
See,
slash.
It's the only
No,
slash
no.
I know. You ever tried to find that other slash?
I don't even
They hide it.
Yeah.
They can't even hardly.
Let's see. So just go to the keyboard. Type in Warhawk.
just that's it. Just go to warhog.com. It'll give you that whole drop down menu where it's a / / /. Just drag
Yeah.
the mouse finger, whatever. Boom.
Kelly Defense. And if you want to check out a really awesome podcast, check out the Protectors podcast.
Oh yeah.
Top
Yeah.
0.5% in the world now.
Congratulations,
Ooh,
brother.
nice.
That's awesome, man. Good for you.
Pete, it is a / Yeah, man. I appreciate the comment, Brian. Great episode as usual. Looking forward to sharing it and giving it a thumbs up.
Man.
That's starting to feel like Siskel and Ebert. We're getting thumbs up now.
2 thumbs up. Yeah.
When's the next On the Range podcast, and where can we find that?
We actually just released one this morning. The video is going to come out tomorrow, and then we're going to release this. I'm sure you're going to release this as well in your audio.
Yep.
This will be out on our On the Range podcast audio. Anywhere you can find podcasts and consume them, go to your Alexa, say, "Hey, Alexa, play On the Range podcast," and it's going to play it for you. It's amazing.
Or
Anyways,
if you
this will
got
be
a,
out tomorrow.
a Fire TV or Amazon
There
TV
we
or
go.
Roku, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Big thanks to Jason.
Thanks to Jason. Yeah, man.
Oh, you
That
guys
was
get
all
your
you're
channel
doing.
up?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
buddy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. You can check out
Yeah.
both of us, son. So
Yeah.
one way to find Amazon Fire is to go to the Amazon App Store and look up both of our apps, and that would be under On the Range.
On the Range
Yes.
podcast. Yep.
Cool, awesome.
There's a
Head
QR
there, and
code.
then-
Just snap it with your phone or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's badass everything you can do nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's great, man. And everybody, if you have any comments or anything you want to hear or see next week for us to talk about, really hit us up. I do want to talk about these good old fashioned babies right here. The old
Yeah.
AR-15. I like to talk about a little bit about that. You know,
Sure.
talk about, hey, you know what? I want to talk about someone who wants to, maybe not next week, but 1 week. I want to talk about, hey, entry-level AR-15s, mid-range, over-the-top ARs, because a lot of people want to buy them, and right now, kind of, you know,
Show and tell.
Yeah,
Show and tell.
it can be a show and tell, you know, but at the end of the day, we'll save that for the next for whenever we do the AR one. I think the fitness one would be a good one, right?
I think
since,
that's one too.
since our boat, I guess, had some holes in it, but we won't.
My boat had holes in it, as we know when I missed the episode.
He was
a few
taking in
weeks
some
ago.
serious water.
Yeah, that water I took in a few weeks ago, kind of. Yeah, there's a reason that there's only 2 people on a screen.
It's all
Well, you're looking
brother.
good, buddy. You bounced right
man.
back. Glad to have you back.
Everybody, thanks
Nothing.
again for joining us. And if you get a chance, buy a Walther PDP, right, Rick?
Oh yeah.
You won't be disappointed.
No.
And make
We
sure you
will
check out the
see.
instructional videos. Bam. There's
You know what?
plenty out
I'm
there.
gonna have to do that before I go to the range because I got to shoot this thing this week.
Well,
Yeah.
so if you look there, there's 75 between myself, Jamie, and Larry Vickers.
Oh my gosh!
Well, yeah, we made 75 videos for Walther, instructional videos.
Wow.
Yeah,
because
buddy.
and the next thing is red dots. We could do a whole episode on red dots. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun. Everybody,
buddy.
thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
See you guys.
Take care.